Welcome back to Renovation Rescue HD. This is Andrew's third custom truck camper build. A passion project deeply shaped by years of hands-on experience, countless trials, and those invaluable hard-earned lessons from a life lived on the open road. While his first two builds were fueled by pure enthusiasm, they were also riddled with trial and error mistakes. The very challenges that taught him exactly what works and what doesn't. Now with this third iteration, Andrew is bringing together his absolute best concepts from his previous projects, with improvements he has identified during his travels, creating a camper that is functional, efficient, and thoughtfully designed. This is Andrew's third custom truck camper build. Starts by getting the foundation ready for his camper. He grabs a 2x10 board and carefully slices it into 3-inch strips. These strips will act as little supports under the 1/2-inch plywood. That will become the floor. By lifting the plywood off the truck bed, he's not only creating a solid level surface to work on, but also keeping the wood safe from touching the metal directly. The camper's foundation is shaped to match the curves and contours of the truck bed, with the vehicle's dimensions carefully translated into the base layout. He measures the width and length over and over, making sure everything will fit snugly, while getting the most out of the interior space to make the camper feel roomier. He adds a few extensions, carefully expanding beyond the usual truck footprint, without sacrificing stability. The plywood and support beams are cut and set in place to match these measurements exactly. Each extension is reinforced at key points, so the camper stays strong while giving a little extra space for living and storage. As the foundation takes shape, the camper's form starts to come to life, showing both the truck's layout and Andrew's vision for a more spacious, comfortable interior. By the end of this step, the base isn't just a flat platform. It's a carefully built skeleton that balances fit, function, and space, ready for the walls and interior details that will come next. The foundation is fully assembled, with extra supports added wherever they're needed. Next, Andrew applies a protective coating to every surface, taking care to cover the top, bottom, and all of the edges and corners. This layer acts as a crucial shield against moisture, wear, and any damage from sitting on the truck bed or being exposed to the elements. This careful step doesn't just help the camper's base last longer, it also gives Andrew peace of mind, knowing the structure will stay strong through travel, changing weather, and everyday use. Next up are the wall frames, which will form the structural backbone of the camper. The walls aren't just dividers. They give the camper stability, shape the interior, and support the roof and any overhead storage. Using strong lumber, Andrew puts together vertical studs and horizontal supports for each wall panel, making sure the framework can handle the bumps and vibrations of the road, while staying light enough so the truck isn't overloaded. Each piece of the frame is carefully joined to create solid, rigid panels. These panels aren't just pieces of wood. They become the main support structure for the camper's walls, holding everything together and giving the future walls the strength they'll need. With the wall frame standing strong, Andrew starts sheathing them with OSB, a material he chose for its strength, rigidity, and cost-effectiveness. He attaches the OSB panels to the outside of the frames, instantly turning the skeleton into solid walls. This step doesn't just give the camper its shape, it also strengthens the whole framework, helping the studs share the load and handle stress from travel and use. The roof is a big step. It really shapes both how strong the camper is and how comfortable it'll feel inside. Andrew starts by setting sturdy wooden beams across the top of the walls, building out the frame that will carry the roof and anything else added up there. He spaces the beams carefully so the weight is spread out evenly, helping prevent any sagging or flex when the camper's on the road. Andrew takes his time lining up each beam so the roof ends up with a consistent height and angle. That's important not just for strength, but also to help water run off properly and keep things a bit more aerodynamic when he's driving. He secures the beams to the walls at key points, especially around the corners and edges, where most of the stress builds up. Once everything is tied together, Andrew covers the structure with OSB. At that point, it really starts to feel solid, less like an open frame and more like a sturdy box that can handle the weight of the roof, along with wind vibration and all the bumps that come with being out on the road. By the end of this step, the camper has a clearly defined shell, with walls and roof framework integrated into a stable structure, ready for weatherproofing. Once all the gaps are sealed up with a strong sealant, Andrew moves on to protecting the whole camper, working on both the inside and the outside. On the exterior, he applies a weather-resistant coating across every exposed surface. This layer helps keep moisture, rain, and humidity out so the wood doesn't swell, rot, or start to break down over time. It also adds a bit of protection from the sun, helping prevent the materials from drying out or weakening after long exposure. Inside the camper, Andrew switches to a different coating. Made for interior use, it helps manage condensation, which is pretty common in small spaces like this. With temperature changes and everyday living, it keeps moisture from soaking into the wood and cuts down the risk of mold. The openings in the wall frames are now fitted with camper-specific windows. They're lightweight but strong, made from impact-resistant acrylic, so they can handle vibrations and all the bumps and stresses that come with life on the road. Next, Andrew moves on to painting the exterior, using a paint specially made for campers and RVs. It's not just about looks. This paint also protects the walls from the sun, rain, dust, and temperature changes. Unlike regular paint, it's flexible, so the wooden panels can expand and contract without cracking, which is essential for a camper that's constantly on the move and exposed to all kinds of weather. The color and finish aren't just about how it looks. They're picked for durability and ease of care too. A light reflective or UV resistant finish helps keep the camper cooler, while a smooth surface makes cleaning much easier. On long trips, Andrew starts building the framework for the bench and the wall-mounted couch. These pieces aren't just for sitting. They also double as storage. and play a big role in how the space is laid out. He uses sturdy lumber to build the frames, making sure they can handle everyday use and the constant vibrations from being on the road without losing comfort or stability. At this stage, you can really start to see the interior come together as he defines walkways, seating areas, and storage spaces. Since the camper is completely custom built and doesn't follow standard sizes, a factory-made door just wouldn't fit right without throwing off the design. So instead, the creator builds the door himself, shaping it to match the exact opening in the wall. He builds a solid door panel that matches the thickness and shape of the surrounding walls. The frame is reinforced to keep it from warping over time, making sure the door holds its shape, even with constant use and changes in temperature and humidity. On the outside, the door gets the same paint as the rest of the camper, so it blends in and stays protected from the elements. On the inside, Andrew adds a decorative panel with a brick pattern, giving it a bit of character and making the space feel warmer and more finished. From a practical point of view, the locking system is designed to be simple and easy to use. Andrew can quickly lock or unlock the camper from both inside and outside, which makes a big difference for convenience and safety while traveling. Next, Andrew installs a DC-DC battery charger. This device lets him charge the camper's house batteries using the truck's alternator while the engine is running. It also comes with built-in protections against things like overvoltage and overheating, and it keeps the input and output isolated for extra safety. It's one of those behind-the-scenes components that really makes the camper more reliable and practical on the road. This way, he doesn't have to rely only on external power sources or worry about running out of energy while traveling. It also helps keep everything running smoothly, from lighting to charging devices, no matter where he ends up. Unlike a regular home, the camper's electrical system has to be compact, efficient, and able to handle constant movement and changing power sources. This setup will run the lights, outlets, and even some appliances, making the camper comfortable for longer trips. This is Andrew's third custom truck camper build. Carefully routes the cables through the wall framing, hiding them inside the structure to keep the interior clean and tidy, while protecting the wiring from bumps and wear. Each circuit is organized, so power is distributed evenly, preventing overloads and making sure everything works reliably on the road. Before adding insulation, Andrew seals all of the gaps, seams, and joints in the walls, roof, and floor with adhesive sealant tape. This first layer of protection keeps out drafts and moisture, while reducing heat loss, creating a solid, continuous barrier that makes the insulation work even better. Wool insulation is perfect for camper builds. It naturally balances moisture by absorbing and releasing humidity, helping cut down on condensation and keeping the interior comfortable. Wool also does a great job with temperature, keeping the camper warm in cold weather and cool when it's hot. while adding a bit of soundproofing against road noise. The vapor barrier is attached to the ceiling. Without it, warm, humid air from inside the camper could hit colder surfaces in the walls or ceiling, causing condensation that leads to mold, wood rot, and long-term damage. It's a small detail, but one that makes a big difference. This thin sheet plays a huge role in keeping the camper strong and healthy for years to come. Andrew moves on to finishing the interior by installing pre-painted boards with a siding pattern. These panels do more than just cover the walls. They turn the insulated shell into a clean, cohesive living space. Since they're already finished, there's no need for extra painting later on, which saves time and keeps everything looking consistent and durable. Throughout the camper, the siding pattern adds a bit of texture and depth, so the interior doesn't feel flat or cramped. At the same time, the finished surface helps protect the walls from everyday wear, moisture, and small bumps, something that really matters in a compact space, like a camper where everything gets used a lot. At this point, the interior really starts to feel more finished. The raw materials are covered up, and the space begins to look less like a work site and more like a place you could actually live in. The light-colored panels help bounce light around, making the camper feel brighter and more open, even though the space is pretty compact. For the ceiling, Andrew goes with wooden planks that are made for curved surfaces. Unlike rigid panels, these are thin and flexible, so they can follow the natural shape of the roof. That's important because the ceiling isn't flat. It has a gentle arch, which helps water run off on the outside and makes the inside feel a bit more open and spacious. As the ceiling starts to come together, Andrew plans out where the recessed spotlights will go, building them right into the surface above. It's a choice that's not just about lighting. It also helps save space and keeps everything looking clean and streamlined. A darker, toned treatment is worked into the wooden planks, giving the surface a rich, mahogany-like shade that contrasts with the lighter elements of the walls. The lights are placed in a way that spreads the glow evenly throughout the camper, so there are no dark corners. By spacing them out carefully, Andrew makes sure key areas like the seating, storage, and entry are all well lit, without having to rely on just one main light. In the center, in a clever move, Andrew uses the vinyl flooring boards for the seating surfaces too. Instead of buying extra panels or special materials for the benches and wall-mounted couch, he repurposes the same vinyl he's using on the main floor. It keeps the look consistent and saves money at the same time. The kitchen is a key part of making a camper functional. It lets Andrew prepare meals on the road, keeping himself sufficient and comfortable while traveling. He builds it with a mix of lightweight cabinets, sturdy countertops, and spaces designed for appliances. Everything is laid out for efficiency and easy access, with storage for utensils, cookware, and dry goods thoughtfully arranged to make the most of the compact space. by adding a dedicated food prep area. Andrew makes a space where daily tasks cooking, cleaning and storing supplies can be handled easily and efficiently. Having a proper kitchen means the camper can support longer trips, stays in remote areas and day-to-day life on the road, making it feel more like a true mobile home than just a temporary shelter. Andrew finishes the kitchen countertop with the same protective coating he used on the ceiling, keeping the surfaces safe from moisture and wear, while maintaining a consistent look throughout the interior. Andrew designs a space that houses the essential systems while also doubling as seating. In a compact camper, every inch matters, so combining utility with function is key. He builds a covered compartment that opens for access, but also works as a bench, making the most of the limited space without giving up comfort or convenience. Check it out, guys. Haha, so cool. The final touch for the camper's base surfaces is the vinyl flooring. Andrew chooses vinyl for its durability, water resistance, and easy maintenance, perfect for a space where spills, dirt, and constant movement are part of daily life. Its resilient surface also helps absorb small impacts and vibrations, making it comfortable to walk on while the camper is on the road. Corners, edges, and joints, the spots that usually take the most wear, are finished with carefully chosen trim planks. These pieces do double duty. They strengthen vulnerable areas while giving the interior a clean, polished look beyond just protection. The trim helps pull the whole design together, making the camper feel complete and thoughtfully finished. Truck campers have been around since the 1950s. They're compact, self-contained living units that fit right into the bed of a pickup truck. This style of RV has stayed popular for decades because it offers a perfect mix of mobility, versatility, and convenience, all in a relatively small, easy-to-manage package. The reason for building a camper like this is pretty straightforward: mobility and self-sufficiency. With the living space mounted directly on the truck, there's no need for a trailer. That means less setup time, and the truck can still be used on its own whenever the camper is removed. A truck camper strikes a balance between comfort, protection from the elements, and practicality for life on the road. It's built to be durable and insulated, with essential systems like a kitchen, seating, and storage, all designed to handle travel and make life easier in different environments. And while it's smaller than most motorhomes or trailers, that compact size is actually a strength, making the camper agile, versatile, and efficient. In a small mobile space, storage isn't just convenient, it's essential for safety and keeping things organized. Every cabinet, drawer, and compartment is designed to hold kitchen supplies, cookware, food, and personal items securely. Loose objects in a moving vehicle can be dangerous, so smartly planned storage makes sure everything stays put even on bumpy roads. Beyond just storing things, the cabinetry really shapes the feel of the camper. Interior: good design keeps the lines clean, cuts down on visual clutter, and makes the space feel organized and livable. It also helps to define different zones like cooking, seating, and technical areas, so it's easier to move around and use the space efficiently. In a small living space, good air circulation is crucial. It helps prevent heat from building up, keeps humidity under control, and clears out cooking smells or indoor pollutants. Even a well-insulated and nicely finished camper can get uncomfortable and stuffy. Without proper airflow and condensation can build up, potentially damaging the wood, insulation and interior surfaces over time. Andrew installs a ceiling vent, placing it carefully to encourage natural airflow. The vent lets warm, humid air escape, while bringing in fresh air from outside, creating a steady circulation that keeps the camper's interior comfortable and fresh. In a truck camper, the entry can be pretty high, so having a stable, well-placed step is important. For both convenience and safety, it makes getting in and out much easier, reducing strain and lowering the risk of slips or falls. Once the structural and functional elements are in place, Andrew focuses on the countertop. He coats it with epoxy resin, giving it a smooth, glossy finish that not only looks impressive, but also makes the surface durable and practical for everyday use. The epoxy does more than just look good. It seals the countertop, protecting it from moisture, stains, and scratches, something that's especially important in a mobile space, where spills and everyday wear are unavoidable. The glossy finish also brings out the natural texture and color of the material, adding depth and richness, while tying in beautifully with the rest of the interior. Applying the epoxy takes care and attention to avoid bubbles. Andrew gently heats it as he spreads the coating, making sure it goes on evenly without streaks. This creates a smooth, flawless surface that's easy to clean and maintain. With all the interior enhancements, design elements, and finishing touches in place, the camper has truly come to life. Every surface, from the walls and ceiling to the countertops and flooring, reflects careful planning and attention to detail. One of the most critical aspects of camper livability is heating. After considering options such as safety and comfort, Andrew chooses a diesel heater as the most efficient and reliable solution. Diesel heaters are perfect for mobile living spaces because they're efficient, safe, and self-sufficient. Unlike propane or electric options, they pull fuel straight from the vehicle's diesel tank, so there's no need for extra fuel. Storage and installation is simpler. Once the plumbing and piping are installed, the kitchen comes to life, turning the countertop into a fully functional workspace. Having running water makes daily tasks much easier and gives the camper greater independence from external facilities, making long trips and off-grid camping far more comfortable and practical. Andrew adds functional and decorative elements that make the camper feel truly livable. Small touches like Venetian blinds, wall-mounted pictures, and kitchen hangers might seem minor, but they give the interior a real sense of home. An essential utility for cooking in the camper is the propane system. By keeping it outside the living area, the risk of leaks or accidental exposure is greatly reduced, while still allowing easy connection to appliances using properly rated tubing and regulators. Every misstep from Andrew's previous builds became a lesson for this camper. Mistakes in layout materials or system placement taught him the value of foresight, planning, and thoughtful design. Unlike his earlier attempts, this build was guided by careful consideration of every detail from the very start, creating a smoother, smarter, and more efficient process. The result is a camper that reflects both wisdom and vision. A mobile home that balances practicality, safety, and style every joint. System and surface shows that mistakes aren't failures, but stepping stones, guiding the way to a design that's thoughtful, fully refined, and engineered to stand the test of time. This camper stands as a true testament to personal growth, unwavering persistence, and the ultimate reward of learning from experience. With every single detail meticulously in place, Andrew takes a step back to admire the finished masterpiece. It's far more than just wood, metal, and complex wiring. A handcrafted companion ready for all the epic adventures lying ahead. Soon it will roll onto open roads, carrying him to new horizons and landscapes yet to be explored. Every mile will be framed by the comfort and warmth of a space built with both hands and heart. Good night, guys. If this build sparked your curiosity, stay with us. There's always more being created. Subscribe to follow the next project.